One of the things that people ask me all the time is, how do I keep my audience engaged? How do I make my content interesting? How do I make sure I don't put my audience to sleep? I know my stuff really well. I'm confident when I speak, but I just don't think that I'm that good a presenter. What can I do to make sure that my presentations are not boring? So good morning here in West Australia and good afternoon over East, and welcome to 7 tips to ensure your presentations are not boring. Now, I can assure you that there are more than 7 tips, but in the half hour I've got, I'm only going to share the 7 tips. So Peter Dew's my name. Most of you know me. I'm a public speaking trainer and coach. I have a background of fear of public speaking. I have a background of being a person who stutters, so avoiding public speaking. And what happens is, because of that, I haven't in the past shared my passion. I haven't shared my messages. I haven't contributed to meetings, to societies the way I should have, the way I would have liked to have, because of that fear. So my passion is to help people unlock their potential, speak up, say what needs to be said, engage the audience, share those messages, that information, that knowledge that you have to the people around you who need to hear what you've got to say, whether that's within disability, whether that's in family violence, whether that's in financial services. You've got passion, you've got knowledge, you've got information that can help people. So never be afraid to share that. That's my passion. Please ask questions as we go. Feel free to take notes. And as you know, I do record these webinars. So I'm going to move fairly quickly. If you don't get everything, feel free to send me an email and ask further questions and ask for a link of the recording. Please ask questions as we go and apply this to your own life. Have you done any of these 7 mistakes in the past? What can you do to make sure your next presentation you're more engaging? It's about the application of the learning in today's webinar that's going to make the biggest difference to you. So take notes, ask questions, and feel free to communicate with me after the webinar. So I love this quote from David Ellis Jones: "There are no boring topics, only boring presenters." And if you'd like to see proof of this, go to a TED Talk, www.ted.com, and in the search bar of the TED website, put in Hans Rosling, H-A-N-S, Hans, and Rosling, R-O-S-L-I-N-G, and the presentation is the most exciting statistics, the best damn statistics you'll ever see. And Hans Rosling is a doctor, and he talks about birth rates and death rates across the world over the last 50 years. I can just sense the excitement in the webinar world. Watch the guy bring this boring topic. In fact, it's not a boring topic. Watch him bring it to life. No boring topics, just boring presenters. So 7 steps. I'll go through these one by one, and I have to go fairly quickly because there's a lot of content. Don't read from your script. Don't read from your PowerPoint slides. Involve your audience. Don't just speak to them, involve them. Be passionate and excited about your topic. Use your stories, your personal stories, to engage the audience. Use the right body language. Body language is so important, and many people aren't aware that their nonverbal communication is sometimes not in line, not parallel with the words coming out of their mouth. And show the audience that you care about them. Put the audience at the front of your reason for presenting. So let's go through these one by one. Don't read from your script. If you have a set of notes and you just read word for word, it really isn't that engaging at all. So how do you not read from your script? Use a mind map. Put your core idea in the middle and then draw out your 3 or 4 core points. And then what story you're going to tell about each point, or what are the sub points. So use that mind map that you can quickly recall. and tell information. Maybe you've got some statistics that you need to read, or maybe there's a quotation you can't remember. By all means, read the statistics, read the quotation, but don't read your entire presentation. Use a mind map. Use a one-page outline with your bullet points or headings, and that heading, one heading, is enough for you to talk for 5 to 10 minutes. If you've got 5 or 6 headings, you've got a 1-hour keynote presentation. And sometimes those headings can be just a trigger. And one of the things I talk about is that fear is a normal part of public speaking. And I use a story from Ringo Starr. So all I put on my mind map would be, or my one-page outline, my bullet point is Ringo Starr. So Ringo Starr is one of the Beatles. He's been performing for years and years and years. And he gets stage fright to the extent that he goes and vomits before most performances. His nickname is Pukey in the Sky with Diamonds. So if Ringo Starr is allowed to vomit, allowed to get nervous before performing, before going on stage, surely we as presenters. And I can elaborate that story further, and I can talk to you about the role of nerves and Ringo Starr. One sentence, 2 words, Ringo Starr, is enough to keep me speaking for 5 to 10 minutes. And use headings and bullet points. Don't read from your script, even wedding speeches. I teach people that I coach, yes, prepare an outline, and maybe your first draft is a full 3 or 4 page of words, but you need to work out how you can present this without the need to read. You've seen presentations where people read word for word off the script. They're not engaging. Don't read from your PowerPoint slides. This is called death by PowerPoint. One of the mistakes that people make is they put up PowerPoint slides, they have bullet points, and they read from it one line, word for word. And this is indeed death by PowerPoint. Here's an example of death by PowerPoint. Don't read from your PowerPoint slides. Don't do bullet points. PowerPoint is not your teleprompter. You are not reading the news. It is not your script. If you do use bullet points like here, like I have here, you are in fact shooting your audience to death, one bullet at a time. So it's really important to understand that the PowerPoint slides are not for you. It's one of the mistakes that people make. PowerPoint slides are for the audience. PowerPoint slides are an audio-visual aid. They should enhance what you're saying. They should add to what you're saying. They should not replace what you're saying. If you look at my slides I'm sharing with you, other than this slide, you will not see any bullet points. So what you really need is you need to use images. You need to use photos, graphs, models. The PowerPoint is an audiovisual aid to amplify, to illustrate what you're saying. And as you know, we have visual learners, we have auditory learners, and we have kinesthetic learners. And a lot of people like that visual information. So don't do death by PowerPoint. Tip number 3, involve the audience. So don't lecture to them, don't tell them what to do, don't speak to them, rather have a conversation. And I use a little model that I've learnt from Matt Church, and it goes like this: tell, show, ask. And if you use this cycle about every 10 minutes, and you kind of tell them some information, show them a PowerPoint slide, show them an image, show them a handout. Now ask, are there any questions? Is everyone clear on that? And for a small group, when I work with 10 to 12, that is the cycle I use, tell, show, ask. When I'm in a group with 30 or above, then I'll go, so share that with the person next to you. What does that mean for you? What have you learned? Just have a quick chat with the person next to you now in the first 10 minutes, and you may have noticed that this slide has come up 10 minutes into the webinar. So just write down, just send me a quick message in the question, what have you learnt so far? What will you change to make sure that you're more engaging next time? And then give some more information. So if you use a tell, show, ask, and then share cycle every 10 to 15 minutes, then you'll be really effective. Yeah, and change your PowerPoints. Do change your PowerPoints. Just off the topic a little bit, or not off the topic, but away from the webinar. Who has heard of, who knows how to use Smart Art? S-M-A-R-T, art, A-R-T. And then someone else has said, so after I've done some talking, yes, to then demonstrate after talking. So show something, go visual. You've got some visual learners. Yes, Smart Art is in PowerPoint. It's also in Word, Microsoft Word, by the way. So only one person's heard of Smart Art. Am I correct? Okay, a couple people have. So Smart Art, let me just go back. Bullet points. I can apply the Smart Art tool into these bullet points, and what you'll get is a model like that. So just because you've got bullet points in your current PowerPoint slides, you can quickly convert them to a range of models. So that's Smart Art. Use your Smart Art. Tip number 3, involve the audience. Oh, and we've covered that one. So by the way, this is another Smart Art. So 4 bullet points, tell, show, ask, share, put them in. Apply the Smart Art tool and you get this nice cycle. There's about, 150 models, triangles, relationships, hierarchies, lists that you can do to make your bullet points or eliminate bullet points and make a more engaging show. Tip number 4, be passionate and excited about your topic. Love this quote from Steve Jobs, what makes your heart sing? One of the worst things you can do is see someone speak about change, a new policy, or asking you to come on board, and you can clearly see that they're not passionate. It's not coming through. So you need to be really passionate. And part of building that passion is, have you got conviction in your topic? Do you believe in what you're saying? There's a wonderful quote, and it comes with conviction, and that quote is, the first sale, so the first sale must be to yourself. Yeah, if you don't buy what you're selling, why would the audience? First sale to you. The attitude, that attitude of the first date mentality. It's the 1%er. It's the attitude that right now, there's no place I would rather be than speaking to you guys. So I've got a question. What do you do if you're not passionate about the topic? E.g., you are asked to present something that you don't agree with. Don't do it. If a HR manager rolls out a new policy and you don't agree with it, and you go out and sell that change or that new policy, the audience knows you're not passionate about it, so you are actually wasting your time. And where's your honesty and your authenticity? How do you feel about presenting information to an audience, selling knowledge that you don't believe in yourself? Now, I understand in government, sometimes you just need to do that, but you need to work out, are you in the right job? If you're in a job where you have to keep presenting information that you don't believe in, then that's a really tough gig, and you need to question, why am I doing this? That's a bit of tough love. I used to work in organ donation, so people would die and we would ask their family members to donate their organs. I employed donor coordinators. Donor coordinators were intensive care nurses, highly trained professional health professionals. Not everyone believes in organ donation. Some people think it's barbaric. Some people think it's encroaching on your human rights, and you should not spoil the human body after someone passes away. If you don't believe in organ donation, if you think it's barbaric, how can you go and ask a family? It's part of your job. How can you go and ask them to donate their loved one's organs genuinely and authentically? Need to take responsibility. So yeah, that's, I guess, tough love. If you don't like what you're saying, if you don't believe in your message, the audience will know that. So you're probably not having impact, and perhaps you shouldn't be in that job. Responsibility, you can change somebody's life. Someone with a disability who's struggling to find employment, a family that's got a child with intellectually looking for funds, looking for respite, and you give them some information, you've changed their lives. And you've got to come across with the right energy. This is your passion. This is your passion. Use stories. Stories engage the audience. The thing with stories is you won't remember much of what I've told you today, but you'll remember how I make you feel. So if you feel, wow, I can make a difference, I now can be more engaging, and you'll probably remember the story. Maybe you remember Ringo Starr, vomiting before he goes on stage for 40 years as a performer. Maybe in my workshops, people remember my stories, my struggle. So stories are more engaging than just facts, information, logic. You need those. So they appeal to the neurological brain, but don't forget we've also got a brain in our heart and in our gut. And it's those gut instincts and those gut feelings that the stories create. People buy on the gut. The logic's still got to be in right, but just logic without that sense, no, this is not right, then people won't buy. That's why the passion needs to come through as well. So if you don't agree with something and you put a logical argument, but within your own gut, within your own heart, you don't believe in it, people will sense that and they won't buy your message. So stories, tell a story, make a point, highlight the benefit of the point to the people in the room. Yeah. If you tell a story and there's no point, then you must be a stand-up comedian, or you must be self-centered, or also egotistic. Sometimes the famous sports people, they've won gold medals, they're Olympic champions, they tell stories about their success, but there's really no point. Sometimes they do make a point, work hard, work hard, work hard. I was told I would never be good enough. But if they don't highlight the benefit to the audience, to you guys, then once again, it's self-centered. So it's really important that you, with your stories, you tell a story. There's got to be a point in the story. If there's no point, then I guess you're entertaining. And if the point has no relevance to me, then I will be disengaged as well. Highlight the benefit to me. Use appropriate and congruent body language. Tip number 6. And I may have missed a slide, so let me go back. Build your stories, collect your stories everywhere. Your stories are good. I borrow Ringo Starr's story. I borrow other stories as well, but I like to use my own stories. Walk the talk. This is about your body language being congruent and in line with what you're saying. And your body speaks louder than your words. You're probably aware that they did some research at University of California, Los Angeles. About 53%, 55% of what people receive from you is in your body language. Around about a third, 33%, is in your voice, and passion can come through your voice, and passion also comes through your body language. And about 10 to 12% is in the words that you say. So if I remove any passion in my voice, if I remove my PowerPoint slides and I just talk to you the message, then you're only going to get about 10%. Of course, it's always hard via a webinar because you can't see my non-verbals. So it's really important that you are aware of what your body is saying about you. And Deepan, that question about what if I don't believe what I'm talking on, I'm told to go and speak on this, your body language probably will show that you're not congruent with the message, the words coming out of your mouth. So things to be aware of. This one's called the fig leaf. And the fig leaf is simply passive, shy, I don't want to be here. Now this is as a speaker, so you're before the audience, avoid this. This is kind of closed. This is a little bit aggressive. This with your arms parallel behind your back is called the sergeant major. And if you're walking or pacing across the room, it's kind of my way or the highway. If you drop your hands back behind your back, so kind of the reverse fig leaf, then that's also passive. Hands in your pockets are passive. If you're holding your hands like this and you're talking about moving forward, you're kind of pushing back. So I would have my hands around the other way and I'd be gesturing towards me. So your non-verbal communication needs to be congruent with what you're saying. So where people disengage, where people put their audience to sleep, where audiences get bored is when the body language, the non-verbals, the voice clearly don't match the message and the words that come out. The problem is most people are unaware of what their body is saying about them. Just one simple scenario, job interview, and this is mostly for the ladies on the webinar, job interviews. If you walk into the job interview with a handbag and maybe a satchel, or a handbag and a laptop bag, or a handbag and a folder, with your notes and your CV, that's seen as unorganized. So the general rule is when you walk in to the job interview, you bring one item with you. If it's your handbag, that's all you bring. If you've got a satchel with your notes and a pen and some note paper, you need to leave your handbag somewhere else. Now, I used to walk into job interviews with nothing. And people think, wow, he's really organized. No, I'm not. I'm the most unorganized person there is. So straight away, that's just a non-verbal you may not even be aware of. What is your body saying about you when you stand up before an audience? Get feedback. Ask someone to find out. Are you coming across as authentic, as genuine? Are you coming across as a little bit closed or maybe even aggressive? Are you assertive or are you seen as passive? Do you know? I love this article from Melville City here in Perth. Negative body language is to be banned at Melville City Council under a new, more restrictive code of conduct for elected members. So this is the City Council of Melville, southern suburb. Examples of outlawed behaviour include shrugging of shoulders, rolling of eyes, deep sigh, finger pointing, turning our back on someone, standing over someone, throwing of documents down, slamming of fists and slamming doors. Breaches of the code carry financial penalties. A local government where our elected representatives represent us as a community have had to introduce a code of body language. Whew. Your body says so much about you. Tip number 7, and the last tip for today. Show the audience that you care about them. In other words, what's in it for me? Remember I said about the story, make a point? So tell a story, make a point, highlight the benefits for me. If it's nothing in it for me. Why are you presenting to me? Maybe you've been told to, but even as you go out and you're told to present this information, you need to look at the audience point of view. You need to scan the audience. What do they want? What are their pain points? What are their problems? What are their issues? And how can you flip your message, change your message, craft the policy to illustrating that it's good for the people in the room. It's about solving their problems. One of the things I tell people always, before you get before an audience, know who's in the room and ask yourself, what headache am I the aspirin for in this room? Be the aspirin. And if you're the aspirin or the Panadol and you solve people's headaches, you will never be boring. So it's about the audience. It's not about you. Solve their problem, remove their pain, help them achieve their goals, help them meet their KPIs. If we were to draw a pain to pleasure continuum, and on this side we put pain, and this side we put pleasure, most of you know that eliminating pain is a greater motivator than creating pleasure. So walk in your audience's footsteps. What are their problems? What are their concerns? What are their headaches? What's keeping them awake at night? Solve that, give them some information that helps them get over that, and they'll love you. They will buy what you're selling. They'll buy your knowledge. Or if there is no pain, help them achieve some of their goals and create some of the pleasure in their life. But understand, removing pain is a stronger motivator than creating pleasure. So don't read from your script. It's not about being word perfect. It's about being genuine and authentic. And if you have a few stutters, if you make a few mistakes, it doesn't matter. That authenticity that'll come through will make so much difference. Don't read from your PowerPoint slides. Don't do death by PowerPoint. Get rid of your bullet points. Do some smart arts. Bring in some pictures. Bring in some models. Those of you who have to go, thank you. Involve the audience. Tell, show, ask. Be passionate and excited. Use your stories to engage the audience. Use appropriate and congruent body language. Show the audience you care about them. What's in it for me? Why are you speaking to me? How are you going to help me overcome my pain? There are 7 tips to ensure that you're not boring. I've got some upcoming workshops in Perth. You'll find these on my website, starting up in February. So if you want to kickstart your year, then by all means, please come to any of those workshops. Those of you who are in Perth, I'm going to schedule Melbourne and Queensland workshops later on in the year. Finally, I'm launching a 12-month webinar-based mentoring program. 1-hour webinars from January to December 2016. I will send you information about it. Now, thanks for those comments. Someone said, I would like to share that communication is 55% body language, 33% tone of voice, and 7% words from recent communication course I did. That's University of California, Los Angeles campus. Old data, but Malcolm Gladwell more recently has done some further study, and your body language is speaking volumes about you. Doesn't mean your words, your message is still not king, but without body language, great messages can fall short. Great messages cannot be engaging. Let me know if you've got any further questions. You've got my email, and